It is time for Weather Watchers Worldwide. Just me in the studio today. My counterpart Lee Southwick has a day off. And, today we're talking about a few things here. We have, of course, what's going on with this big winter storm that's going to be impacting much of the United States, starting from the southwest all the way off towards the northeast. Really, that means California to New Jersey being impacted by this upcoming storm. But first, we're going to talk about, 1 year ago today, and I've got a couple areas to track in the tropics, not the Atlantic Ocean, but there's some other areas. This is Weather Watchers Worldwide. I got a few other little tidbits, including some photos from weather watchers all over the world that have sent me some photos out there today, and even some pretty incredible video as well. So a packed show today to get through, so let's get into it. Right now, there's a look at our current snowpack in the United States. But a year ago today, the snow extended a lot further towards the south. In fact, in New Orleans, I got some video I want to show you out of New Orleans where they had some snowfall out there in NOLA. So in southern Louisiana, we could run with that video there. That would be fantastic. There we go. There's the Superdome. Yeah, right? There's an incredible shot. There, Bourbon Street right there. Oh my goodness. Mardi Gras is going to be cold that year. Yeah, it was absolutely chilly though. I mean, obviously, everybody out there having a good old grand time, those snowballs, getting the snowmen going, and that's classic. Don't, if it gets too cold, be careful with that trombone there. Now that is how you sled in the South though. That is pretty exciting. I think that's absolutely fantastic video, because up in the north you have sleds, you have the ones that are designed for sledding, and then in the south it's like, okay, we got to make do. What are we going to do? Cardboard box. That's the way to go. And of course, you don't have the traditional snow plow, so how they clear out New Orleans, they used construction equipment just like that. And yeah, that was 1 year ago today there in New Orleans. But it wasn't just there. This same storm extended along the coast. Pensacola had snowfall on January 21st, 22nd, 2025, and even extending off towards the east into the First Coast. And in fact, I want to show you some video as well. That can we pull up the one out of Waycross? This was stuff I shot out of Waycross, Georgia. This was at 3 a.m. right there, driving through town.
It's gonna have to be fixed.
Yeah, and you know what? No plows out there at that point. Just taking our time here and just looking at what was happening there. The snow was all over the roadways. This is a drone shot over Waycross, Georgia. Some pretty decent snowfall setting up there. Beautiful hallmark view at the park there, though. And this is over the historic downtown area. Absolutely gorgeous. And from the sky, in the air, driving around it, a bit messy. And the big issue, and if you're from up north, you're like, okay, that only looks like a few inches. Not too big of a deal. But when we start talking about heavy snow, or at least even moderate snow, in the south, where you don't have the infrastructure in place to clean it up, you don't have salt on the roadways, that's why that road looks like that. It can start to cause issues. And also just buildings that are not designed for the snow. For example, in Waycross, we had a roof collapse on it wasn't a home, it was a business, but a roof collapse due to the heavy snow on top of that building. And also when we start talking about, heavy snow and freezing rain, we could be talking about power outages, which is going to be one of the big issues as we look ahead at this upcoming winter storm that we're seeing going ahead throughout this upcoming weekend. So I'll come back to that in just a second, though. That is definitely one of the big topics that we're going to be looking at here. But first, I do want to get into the tropics. Sorry to bounce around here. Malcolm behind the screen there, he's doing a good job keeping up with me on the lower thirds, though. And you might go, okay, you just mentioned winter storm. We're jumping over the tropics. What's going on, Robert? Well, for these weather watchers worldwide, I often tend to try to talk about what's happening out in the tropics. And especially, not the northern, but also the southern hemisphere. We do have an Investo 92W located over Guam. It's actually been bringing some scattered showers to Guam, which is part of the United States. So if we're talking about U.S. even just solely, they actually have a little bit of a tropical system here. Thing is that it's smacking into a what we call cold surge surge in the western Pacific out here in the Philippine Sea. It's going to bring some heavy rainfall to the Philippines and some scattered showers there across the southern island of Mindanao. Could even bring some localized flooding. But also we have another invest there in the southern Pacific. That's out in the Coral Sea. That one could develop into a cyclone before moving on shore into Queensland. And then another area off of the northwest coast of Australia, off of Western Australia, which is expected to drift towards the south and increase rainfall there across the Northern Territory, even over towards Darwin. So you can see the storm on the east coast and on the west coast, two different cyclones impacting our friends there in the southern hemisphere. So, yeah, you know, and I also point this out for all those people that say, okay, I thought the globe was warming. What's the deal here? We got this winter storm, and it's called climate change, and it's about extremes. Because, of course, we're looking at these extremely cold temperatures across the United States, Canada, but there's other areas still dealing with tropical systems, and there could be some potent and flooding in other areas. The seasons do still change, even if the overall climate is changing as well. So just something to keep in mind. Anyways, yeah, that's a look at the tropics here. When we get back, I'm going to go to a break here right now. We're going to come right back. I got some photos from weather watchers worldwide. So stick tuned to this one. It's going to be a little interesting segment coming up.
Why do we come here? To reach for new heights, to dive to new depths. You can call it a team, even a community. That connection with others. We all deserve that. So why come here? This is why.
Swing into luxury, where golf and community come home. Located in St. John's, Florida, Stillwater is a premier 55-plus active adult community where golf is in your backyard. This bundled golf course community features a championship 18-hole course, top tracer practice facility, and resort-style amenities. Whether perfecting your swing or connecting with neighbors, Stillwater offers the perfect blend of relaxation and recreation. Live where every day feels like a getaway.
Maybe you're new to all this streaming, OTT, on-demand stuff. You need a trusted news and weather source, and we've got you with First Coast News Plus.
That's some pretty serious cold.
Get your most accurate forecast, your weather impact alerts.
Heavy law enforcement presence.
Extended breaking news coverage.
And that breaking news right now out of Camden County, Georgia.
And exclusive specials, all on your schedule. So download First Coast News Plus and start watching for free.
And welcome back to Weather Watchers Worldwide. And we call it worldwide because it's not just locally, even though we're broadcasting, of course, out of Jacksonville, Florida, and on the First Coast. We also have, people that watch from all over the world. And I put out on my personal social media about 300,000 people on there. Absolutely love them. Very engaging audience. And I asked, hey, how's the weather where you are? Can you send me some photos? And I got some pretty incredible stuff. Check out this one. This is out of Hokkaido, Japan. This is the northern areas of Japan. And you might, when people think of that country, they often think of like, Tokyo, lights, kind of that cyberpunk type of feel. They never really imagine this. And believe it or not, Japan is one of the snowiest countries on Earth, just because of what we call sea effect. The cold air comes out of Siberia, it moves over to Sea Japan, which is relatively warm. It hits mountains there, and it causes orographic lifting, and thus snow. And sometimes it comes in with wind. And wow, Pete sent this to me. That video right there, absolutely incredible. That is some blizzard conditions. And no matter what the weather's like where you are, at least you're not driving in that. That is atrocious. Some wintry weather out of Hokkaido, Japan there. Then we come back to the First Coast. This is in Jacksonville, Fernandina Beach. Brenda sent in this image of the sunrise here on our Thursday morning. Absolutely beautiful sunrise. Well, I think that's relative. Stratocumulus clouds. It seems like a nice sunrise, but we had some cloudy skies out there to start off the day, and then things started to clear out slowly after that. Meanwhile, though, let's go over towards the Philippines. Dave sent this photo in. I love that sunset shot right there, the other side of the world. Talking about taking the bike out, just sitting there on the beach, enjoying that. Beautiful, beautiful shot. Thank you so much for sending that. And then we go over to the Indian Ocean, Mauritius. Damien sent in this one. Whew, all over the place. I'm telling you, this one looks like a little stormy activity just offshore, but there's another good beach shot out of Mauritius in the Indian Ocean. That's a gorgeous place right there. Thank you so much, Damien, for sharing that with us. And then, we were just talking about that tropical system off of the coast of northern Australia. Then you had Caroline Brooksby out here in Darwin, Australia. That is in the Northern Territory. And it's a very tropical area. They often do get kind of the intertropical convergence zone located just offshore. And in the afternoons, you do see this scenario a lot. You get these kind of storms that do develop. It kind of brings those cloudy skies, some scattered showers in the area. Caroline sent in that one, though, out of Caroline Brooksby, CB Photography, right there. I see you watermarked it, and I always appreciate you sending in those photos. That one out of Darwin, Australia. Really great image there from our weather watchers worldwide. This one looks like it belongs in the Netherlands, but it is Keys out of the Philippines, right? Right? Oh, big old windmill. That's different. I love it, though. Absolutely gorgeous shot. And I thought this was just really unique and a different view there. And always appreciate that. You guys sending in these photos to our weather watchers worldwide whenever I request them. And if you ever have any photos, check out our First Coast News weather watchers. You can send us some of these images. No matter where you are in the world, or if you want to send them to me directly, always would love to use them here on the stream. So thank you very much for everybody who sent those in. All right, let's talk about some cold weather. Maybe not quite the winter storm just yet. I'm going to get to that in just a second. I do want to mention this because I got an update on Iceberg A23A. Now, if you've been following this, I've been putting in about a weekly updates on this, and I've been following this for several years now, this iceberg. It broke off of Antarctica way back in 1986. Kind of hard to see right there, but you can see it there, just west of that island right in the middle of the screen. You see kind of that box right there. I'll circle it so you can follow it along here. It's right there. Well, let me push this down a little bit further. Hold on. Let's try this again. Man, this thing's hard to do. Right there in the middle of that circle. You see the iceberg? All right, so this broke off of Antarctica in 1986. Absolutely massive. It's like the size of Massachusetts, okay? This thing is big. And it got stuck down there. It hung around to about 2020. And then it started floating towards the north. And now it's cruising around these South Georgia islands here. And you can see that was from last April. This image right here is from August. And then this image here is from January 13th. And you might notice, if you look closely, it goes from white to blue. It's what we're getting blue water intrusion into it. And it's starting to melt. And not only melt, but break apart. And this thing is 40 years old. It has been around forever. And I noticed in the image today, we got cloud cover, but I did circle it here so you can see through the clouds. It has broke in half, which I think that this iceberg, which is 40 years old, it is the oldest and largest iceberg ever recorded in the satellite era. So, as long as we've been able to track these massive things, is days, if not weeks, if not only days left in its life. And I think one of these days I'm going to pull up the satellite imagery, and it's probably going to be crumpled and melted away really fast. A lot of people have been asking me, this is going to raise sea levels, and it doesn't. Because this is an iceberg. It's not from a glacier, it's from seawater ice. What does that mean, the difference? Think of it this way. If you have a glass full of water and you put ice in it, right? If that ice melts in your glass of water, does your glass overflow? It doesn't. it takes up the same amount of volume. It's already in there. So even when this melts, it's not going to raise sea levels. It's more or less just it is a very interesting thing. And the fact of the matter is it did break off way back in 1986, but ever since then it kind of got stuck off of Antarctica, and now it's been expedited and it's melting as it's drifting out here just around the South Georgia Islands towards the east of the Falklands and well east of South America. It's been interesting to watch because a lot of shipping's been watching it, and maybe even some of the islands here were worried that it was going to run into one of the islands in Iceberg the size of an entire state. Incredible. Absolutely incredible there. All right. So for the rest of this Weather Watchers Worldwide, we're going to talk about, of course, what's going on out here with our severe winter storm. So take another break, and then we're going to discuss this area out here developing off of the west coast of the United States, and it's going to bring widespread impacts, what it means for you, even if you're in Jacksonville or all across the southeast. So we'll be discussing that in just a few moments.
Why do we come here? To reach for new heights, to dive to new depths. You can call it a team, even a community. That connection with others. We all deserve that. So why come here? This is why.
Swing into luxury, where golf and community come home. Located in St. John's, Florida, Stillwater is a premier 55-plus active adult community where golf is in your backyard. This bundled golf course community features a championship 18-hole course, top tracer practice facility, and resort-style amenities. Whether perfecting your swing or connecting with neighbors, Stillwater offers the perfect blend of relaxation and recreation. Live where every day feels like a getaway.
Maybe you're new to all this streaming, OTT, on-demand stuff. You need a trusted news and weather source, and we've got you with First Coast News Plus.
That's some pretty serious cold.
It's your most accurate forecast, your weather impact alerts,
Heavy law enforcement presence,
extended breaking news coverage,
and that breaking news right now out of Camden County, Georgia.
and exclusive specials, all on your schedule. So download First Coast News Plus and start watching for free.
All right, now it's time to talk about this winter storm we've been alluding to. Look at this winter storm watches in place. That's those darker blues, all the way from New Mexico, Texas, all the way out to the Carolina coast, Pennsylvania, New York, into New Jersey there, parts of Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi. Like everybody, and even these winter weather advisories, and it would probably be a winter storm warning for the Dakotas, but their thresholds are a little bit higher, but they're going to be looking at wind chills into like Minnesota, North Dakota, minus 50 maybe by the end of the weekend. This is a potent storm system. How potent is it? Well, earlier on this morning and last night, the hurricane hunters, which, typically fly into, hurricanes, we're out here flying off of the west coast of California where this storm is starting to develop. And the reason is that off the west coast, you don't have any data, well, outside of satellite and maybe some ships there, but you want to get the recon data. You want to plane the fly around there. That's the whole reason why the hurricane hunters fly into hurricanes, to get that initialized in data, because you take that and you plug it into weather models and you have an idea of how the atmosphere is developing. And if you have that, it'll make the forecast much more accurate. But it just shows the importance of how serious the NOAA is taking this storm threat. They're flying hurricane hunters into it here. With that said, it is developing off of the southwest coast around New Mexico over towards Arizona, southwestern areas of Texas. It's going to pump in that moisture from the southwest, that cold air that's already in place across the north. It's going to combine with it, and you're going to get this wide swath of snow, sleet, freezing rain, and for those warmer areas in the south, including Jacksonville, we're just going to stay in the warm sector. This actually, temperature is going to stay well above average. but all of that warm air is being pumped into the storm. It's the reason why it's so potent here. So that goes ahead through Saturday. This would be Sunday morning, and then by Sunday afternoon into the evening, still the storm system creeping along here. It's not till about Sunday night that the rain passes the Jacksonville area. But you can see here Sunday at 7 o'clock. I mean, look at the widespread freezing rain. That is there in the pink. Look at the snow, which some spots are looking at several feet of snow, especially there in Oklahoma where there's winter storm warnings in place. It really is just about this line too. It's not only the temperature at the surface, but then you're talking about the atmosphere. How thick is the overrunning layer where you have this warm air intrusion that's going to be pushing in between the cold air at the surface and cold air aloft that allows for freezing rain and sleet to form up. But this is kind of a general idea of what we're seeing right now. And specifically for the snow, latest guidance from the ECMWF, of course, wherever you're watching this, Jacksonville, we're not going to get any of this, but if you know anybody off towards the north, the local Mets that are watching this in detail, probably the best people want to check in with. But you can see here, look at that lighter pink just in northwestern Arkansas, eastern areas of Oklahoma, indicating up to 2 feet of snowfall in spots that don't typically get a lot of snow. And 2 feet for like western New York is nothing, if we're talking about like lake areas that see lake effect. For these areas, this is going to be crippling as far as the snow is concerned. But then you're talking about the other side of the story, which is the freezing rain, which is going to be setting up here. And there's going to be spots that we could see a solid quarter to a half an inch across parts of Arkansas, over towards western Louisiana, northwestern areas of Mississippi into Alabama, maybe even northern Georgia, especially into some of the mountains there. You get some of that cold air damming in a few spots across the Carolinas too. There could be some serious freezing rain. And freezing rain is just it is the worst kind of weather, in my humble opinion. I would rather get 3 feet of snow than a half an inch of freezing rain, to be quite honest with you. Because that is the type of stuff, and you can see right here, half an inch. What happens? Dangerous travel, widespread tree damage, long-term power outages. And then you're talking about a lot of this is hitting in spots like Atlanta, Charlotte, Nashville, Dallas. What do all those cities have in common outside of being predominantly in the South? They are all major transportation hubs. And that is going to be another issue with this, the traveling. If you want to get out and about, it's going to be rough this upcoming weekend through Friday, Saturday, and into Sunday. I touched on this a second ago about these precipitation types, and I just want to point it out again. So basically, surface to the upper levels, if you are above freezing, that is rain. Surface to the upper level, the cloud forms and crystallizes, that is snow. Easy. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that one out. But when you get that warm air punching into the atmosphere and you get the overrunning with these fronts, you create sleet predominantly. But if there is mostly rain, but there's a sliver of cold air near the surface, your water droplet is super cool. And super cooling basically is a statement for when any liquid, in this case H2O, is below the freezing point, but it's not freezing. So what happens is all you got to do is touch it. And it will freeze. You can do this experiment with a bottle of water, even something like water. You keep it tight. It's got to be like clear water, like a purified one with no minerals in it, because minerals, it will touch even the minuscule microscopic minerals. So let's say you got distilled water. Put it in a freezer. Let it sit there for like 20, 30 minutes, and you take it out, and then you like bang it so it starts hitting the sides of the bottle. It will freeze instantly. I've done this experiment before, and you know what I'm going to do? I think I might do this on Weather Watchers Worldwide tomorrow. It's really interesting. All you got to do is just kind of bang it, and it will instantly freeze because it starts to hit the sides of the bottle when there's so that is a small scale version of freezing rain, though. You get the super cooled water droplets, it hits the ground, and it freezes instantly. It's really, really interesting how it works out. I love weather. I love science. Love sharing it with you guys. All right, so here's that future cast. This is our high res as far as it goes out for the next 72 hours. I point this out because you can see in the Jacksonville and First Coast area, which I'm going to wrap up because, of course, we're broadcasting this from Jacksonville and the First Coast. Obviously, let's talk about our forecast for the next few days. 70s. Because we're south of all of that. So we're staying in this warm sector. So 76 on Friday. I push us up near 80 on Sunday. I think some areas will get into the 80s. Because that front arrives later on in the day, too. So it's not going to arrive until like the Sunday night. So you have the daytime heating all day, plus a stiff southwesterly breeze. It's going to allow those temperatures to rise before we get a cool down by Monday, Tuesday, and the Wednesday. In fact, a pretty decent little cool down. I'm a little worried, actually. Not worried, but I'm planning on running the Donna Marathon out at Jack's Beach on the 1st. And right now, the temperature is looking like they're going to be into the 30s that morning. I was hoping it would be like 40s or 50s, some good running weather, 30s. I mean, you're running 20 kilometers by the time it's over with. You're probably sweating anyways. But, man, not looking forward to that. Anyways, just sharing a little personal objectivity on the forecast here. Number one thing, though, we're getting those colder conditions. I'll make sure everybody around you is staying safe. And also, if you have any friends or family up north that is being impacted by this severe winter storm, make sure they're staying safe as well. Anyways, I'm meteorologist Robert Speta. This has been a fantastic talk with you here on Weather Watchers Worldwide. As I mentioned before, if you like these updates, if you want to share some photos with us, always love seeing it. And, always appreciate your feedback. Number one thing, though, is continue to stay safe out there. And as always, thanks for stopping by.